Nkosi singeleli Afrika, maluphakanyiso ponolwayo, izwa imithandazo yethu. Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwayo, morena buluka sitshaba sa Yesu, ufedise dintwa le matshwenyeho. Usibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu, sitshaba sa South Africa, South Africa. Eight diplo van onze hemel, eight die diepte van ons ziel. Wat ons eeuwige gebed is, van die kranse antwoord geeft. Sounds the call to come together, and united we shall stand. Let us live and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land.
Good morning and a warm welcome to the launch of Wits South Africa Hydrogen Localisation Initiative. A warm welcome to His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Paul Mashatile. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Minister of Energy and Electricity, Dr. Kgosietso Ramokgopa. Honorable Minister of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Buti Manamela. Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Dada Morero. From Wits University, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Vice Chancellor of Wits University, Professor Zeblon Vilakazi, and his executive team. And from Air Liquide, I acknowledge the presence of the CEO of Africa, Middle East, India, Mr. Nicolas Poirot, and the presence of the local CEO, Mr. Nkululeko Magadla. And from the Localization Support Fund, Mr. Ershad Kathrada. And all our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lorraine Matanda, and I'm the Communications Director for Africa, Middle East, India at Air Liquide, and your Program Director for today. You may take your seats, yes. Before we proceed with today's program, may I take a few moments to outline the important safety information for this event. As you are aware, the launch is taking place inside a marquee structure. Your safety and comfort are of highest priority, and we ask that you kindly note the following. For the entrances and exits, the main entrance through which you arrived will remain open and staffed throughout the event, including this one on the side. All exit routes must remain unobstructed all times. We kindly request that all bags and personal belongings are kept clear of aisles and walkways. Fire safety protocols. This is a strictly no smoking environment. The use of any open flames or unauthorized electrical equipment inside the marquee is prohibited. In the unlikely event of a fire alarm or an instruction to evacuate, please remain calm. Follow the directions of event staff and security personnel. Proceed immediately to the nearest marked exit. Do not run. Once outside, please move to the designated assembly point where further instructions will be given. Fire extinguishers are positioned at key points within the marquee in accordance with the safety regulations. On emergency procedures and medical assistance, trained security personnel and event staff are on duty throughout the program. Should you require assistance at any time, please approach a member of staff identifiable by their accreditation badges. Emergency medical support is available on site. In the event of a medical emergency, please notify the nearest staff member immediately. Emergency services have been notified of the event and are on standby should they be required. Ablution facilities. Please note that ablution facilities are available in the Wits Club restaurant, and staff will be available to guide you if required. We appreciate your cooperation in helping us maintain a safe environment for all attendees. Thank you for your attention, and we trust you will enjoy the launch. At this point in time, we would like to go straight into our welcome remarks, which will be given by the CEO of Air Liquide South Africa, Mr. Nkululeko Magatla.
Good morning. Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Mr. Paul Mashatile, Honorable Minister of Electricity and Energy, Khosie Nso, my fellow alumnus, Honorable Minister of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Puti Manamela, Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Dada Mreo, Wits University Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Zebulon Vilagazi, and your senior executive team, Air Liquide Middle East and India, Africa, Middle East and India CEO, Mr. Linkola Poirot, Localization Support Fund CEO, Ishad Katrada, our valued industry partners, customers, academia, and industry associations. It's an absolute honor to welcome you all to Wits University for this milestone occasion. But before we proceed, I'd like to extend a very special acknowledgement in absentia to Professor Thokozani Majozi. Professor Thokozani Majozi recently moved to Cape Town, to the University of Cape Town, and is not able to join us today. His vision and tireless work laid the foundational stones for what we are launching today. His contribution to bridging the gap between academic research, industrial application, is a cornerstone of the Wits SALI initiative. Perhaps let me introduce Air Liquide. For those that are meeting us for the first time, we are a leader in gases, technologies, and services for industry and health. We are more than just a gas supplier. We consider ourselves a long-term partner in South Africa's industrial and energy evolution. Since 1948, we've invested in and contributed to the Southern Africa economy and society. And we act as a key partner to over 3,000 customers and patients in the region. Our customers are predominantly in industrial, mining, healthcare sectors. We are dedicated to growth that is both sustainable and inclusive. And we hope that over the next 78 years, we will be able to point back to this facility and be able to point back at what it has contributed for our society. A brief outline of the program will begin with Minister Manamela, who will perform the official opening. Professor Vilakazi will speak on innovation for good, followed by Mr. Nicolas Poirot, who will talk about investing for a sustainable future. Dr. Ramokgopa will speak on South Africa's hydrogen context. We will then have a symbolic signing of the contract and sod-turning. And I think something worthwhile mentioning to everybody gathered here today is that we are hoping that in the next 18 months, where we all sit today, will be a facility fully functional, teaching and researching for the future. So, to officially open this event and highlight the importance of investing in skills and the development of our youth, it is my pleasure to introduce the Minister of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Butima Manamela. Mr. Manamela was the Deputy Minister of Higher Education and Training from July 2024 to June 2025. Before then, he was Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation from 2019 until June 2024. He is a former minister in the Presidency between 2014 and 2017, former Deputy Minister of Education from 2017 to 2019, and has been a member of Parliament since 2009. Minister Manamela is a member of the South African Communist Party Central Committee and was elected into the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress in 2022. Mr. Manamela is an alumnus of this university. He holds a master's degree in public policy and development management from this very university and studied digital electronics at the Tshwane North TVET College. Please join me in welcoming Minister Buti Manamela.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Deputy President, Minister of Energy, Vice Chancellor, Mayor, and also CEO of Air Liquid, and also the, well, ladies and gentlemen, industry partners, academics and students, good morning. It is a privilege to join you here today for the launch of the Wits South Africa Hydrogen Localisation Initiative. And so this is not simply the unveiling of a facility, it is a statement of intent about the kind of economy South Africa is building and the role our universities must play in shaping that future. Our country has committed itself to building a competitive hydrogen economy aligned with Hydrogen Society roadmap. And so hydrogen is not just an alternative energy source. It represents energy security, it represents industrial diversification, export potential, but also meaningful decarbonization. But ambition alone is obviously not enough, because what matters is how we build this economy and how and who is involved in that, in the building of that economy. This Wits SALI is a practical demonstration of that commitment. And through an investment of 100 million, Air Liquid is not only meeting its localization obligations, but contributing directly to South Africa's reindustrialization and energy transition. This is how regulation becomes development, and this is how partnership, in our view, becomes progress. At a technical level, this facility is impressive. A hydrogen electrolyzer, storage capacity, reconversion to clean power, and a modular design that allows components to be tested, adapted, and replaced. But the real significance of this initiative lies beyond the technology. In a country facing energy reliability challenges, Vice Chancellor, we were having a situation here last week, and today Minister of Energy said, I can show you who's in charge by switching on, off the power. But, yeah, well, we produce the engineers, Minister of Energy. It allows us to store surplus energy. But as we said, infrastructure brings me to the central role of the University of the Witwatersrand. Wits is not merely hosting this initiative. It is anchoring a national capability, and in a developing economy such as ours, universities are not ivory towers. They are strategic national assets, institutions that must sit at the center of industrial renewal, skills formation, but also technological sovereignty. Through Wits, SALI, the university becomes a platform institution integrating teaching, research, innovation, and also industrial application in real time. This facility also allows us to move beyond theory into production-oriented knowledge, knowledge that can be tested, localized, and scaled. Students here will not only study hydrogen system in classrooms, they will also operate them, improve them, but also innovate around them. And researchers will not just be confined to journals alone, but will engage directly with industrial challenge and localization imperative. In fact, Deputy President, if there's a practical expression of the President's State of the Nation address around skills that are linked to employment and practical application of knowledge, this is just but one of those projects. And this is how universities must function in a modern developmental state. Incubators of advanced skills, partners to industry, not just subcontractors, but also as custodians of long-term national capability beyond market cycles. Importantly, this initiative helps us close a persistent structural gap in South Africa, the gap between research, excellence, and industrial deployment. By embedding hydrogen infrastructure within the university, we shorten the distance between discovery and application, but also between innovation and impact. WITS-SALI is also deliberately designed to drive localization. Its modular architecture allows key components to be developed, tested, and substituted locally, which create an opportunity for South African manufacturers, from small, medium enterprises, and for emerging industrial suppliers. Localization, however, must never mean isolation. It must mean competitiveness. It must mean firms that can stand in global markets while rooted in local capability. Localization support funds plays a critical role in bridging policy ambition and industrial reality, ensuring that localization drives productivity and not protectionism. Ladies and gentlemen, the hydrogen economy will not be built also by a single sector, and it requires an ecosystem where industry brings capital and technology, universities brings research and excellence and talent, and government provides policy certainty and strategic direction. What we are demonstrating here today is a model we want to replicate across the post-school education and training system, where universities and colleges become active drivers of sectoral development, embedded in real economic value chains and aligned to national priorities. Our energy transition must be just, must be inclusive and growth-oriented. Hydrogen therefore provides a pathway to decarbonize heavy industry, enable cleaner transport, but also integrate renewables. So today's launch is therefore more than a ceremony. It is an important declaration that South Africa will not be a passive participant in the global energy transition, that we're making bold moves towards innovation, towards localization, towards being a global partner, but importantly, towards building skills. To Air Liquid and the Localization Support Fund and the University of Witwatersrand, we really want to thank your commitment and leadership, and together we're not only producing hydrogen, we are building national capability and also strengthening our sovereignty over skills, technology, and laying the foundation for South Africa's long-term competitiveness. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Minister Buti Manamela. Our next speaker is our host today, the VC and Principal of Wits University, Professor Zebulon Vilakazi. He has been in this role since January 2021 and is currently in his second term of office. A distinguished nuclear physicist by training, Prof. Vilakazi's leadership is grounded in the belief that universities must combine academic excellence with real-world impact, and that graduates should leave not only highly skilled, but socially conscious. In 2022, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of London, one of the highest honors in global science. His work continues to span research, leadership, and international collaboration, with a strong focus on positioning African scholarship at the center of global knowledge production. As both a proud alumni and a current student of Wits University, I proudly welcome my VC.
Thank you for the kind words, Program Director. I'm still stuck in the pulp age, so I need to move on with the times. I think the Honorable Minister Manamela has actually laid the groundwork, so therefore I'll short-circuit the protocol. I beg your indulgence. Thank you, Program Director. Of course, I have to recognize His Excellency, Deputy President of the Republic, the Ministers of Higher Education, Electricity, in the Presidency, Messrs. Manamela, Ramakgopa, respectively, the Executive Mayor, the immediate past Chair of Council who just walked in now, Mr. Isaac Shongwe, and the current Chair who has sent his apologies, Deputy Vice-Chancellors, Deans of Faculties present, distinguished partners from Early Kid, and from the Localization Support Fund, Mr. Ishat Kathrada, who reminded me that I taught him 20 years ago, but he only attended 3 lectures because quite a bad reflection. Colleagues, students, friends of Wits, members and citizens of this great city of Johannesburg in this great country of South Africa, good morning and welcome to the University of the Witwatersrand. The full name of the university, Councillor Morero, is the University of the Witwatersrand, it's got a surname, Johannesburg. It is because when Johannesburg 150 years ago came about as a kind of a settlement in the city, the university had to move from Kimberley, where it was established after the discovery of diamonds, to Johannesburg, Deputy President and ministers. So our organic growth in the city was shaped by the evolution of the city itself. It needed engineers, it needed doctors, it needed lawyers to resolve disputes among the landlords. It needed all the accountants to do the management of the finances. So therefore, we have been integral in the evolution and growth of our city. In 2022, we turned 100 years, and our motto, taking from the 1980s rock song, we said, we built this city. So this university built this city. So therefore, not on rock and roll, but on rock mechanics. Today marks an important moment, not only for this university, because I'm not speaking here, ladies and gentlemen, not only on behalf of Wits, but on behalf of the entire academy. Because this is not Minister Ramakgopa and Mr. Manamela, a Wits facility. It is a national facility, Deputy President. So therefore, we did invite, and some of them might be here, representatives from the entire sector as well. So you're actually part of our fraternal community of vice chancellors and researchers who will participate in this major national milestone, because Wits alone cannot do it. We need the economies of scale that will be brought by all partners in the space. It is not a facility yet, it's a capability. A living laboratory that brings knowledge, skills, and industrial ambition into the same space. For more than a century, this university has had the privilege of contributing to the scientific efforts and technological evolution, industrial evolution and revolution that have shaped this city. From my very area of work in particle physics at the European Center for Nuclear Research Center in Geneva, where South Africa actually led the continent into the entry into this global enterprise. Their view here is that Africa must not be caught in the backwaters of the scientific evolution, but you're going to be players and agents in driving knowledge innovation. Why am I saying so? Last year we celebrated the International Year of the Quantum. Quantum started as nothing but a bunch of youngsters in Heidelberg, in Göttingen, in Manchester, in Cambridge and Oxford, looking at the fundamental nature of reality. Of course, quantum, combined with Einstein's E = mc squared, gave us the atom bomb, the Manhattan Project, that involved a collaboration on a scale that involved universities, industry, the military, and government. Of course, you've seen the movie by this very eccentric young physicist at the time, Mr. Oppenheimer. And of course, it manifested itself in its birth pangs that are not welcome. But what is the evolution therein is that actually I have to insist, out of that, peaceful deployment of nuclear can enhance human life in medical research, in energy, which we need. So therefore, what comes out as a basic science has huge implications for societies 100 years later. So therefore, Minister Mkhopa, please invest in basic science. And Minister Manamela, invest in basic science. And this is actually translate the space between basic and applied sciences. Again, talking about the partnership between industry, between government, and between the academy, this triple helix. We look at the Apollo lunar projects. When IBM realized that they cannot build this AGC, the Apollo guided computing system that allowed men to dock and land on the moon and come back and say those immortal words, those things were computerized. Of course, with the computer that actually has got the millions of the power of the current iPad you hold. But when IBM realized that they can't do this job alone, whom did they outsource it to? To MIT. When Lockheed Martin realized that they cannot build the rockets by themselves because they've got like a brain trust, they outsourced that to Caltech. So therefore, it's always been that partnership. And South Africa, actually, this initiative, Mr. Magadla and Mr. Perot, and members, colleagues from Mr. Ishad, Kathrada, epitomizes that kind of global standard where you operate, where you have the academy and industry playing together. In South Africa, we are pioneers in square kilometer array, which actually puts us at the frontier. So I do believe that as a university, we have the capacity not only to generate knowledge, but to anchor capability. The investment in this enterprise is not over 5 year, 3-year reporting cycles of shareholders. It's a long-term investment of 20, 30, or even 100 years, as I alluded before. So posterity will judge us kindly if they look back at this very pivotal moment. To create a platform where students encounter real systems, where researchers work alongside industry, when innovation is shaped by both local excellence and global relevance. We do not only build capacity locally, we import the future and recreate it now and shape it. It reflects that South Africa can build, can design, and can lead areas that will define the next phase of industrial development. To our friends at Air Liquide, merci beaucoup. Thank you very much for bringing deep technical expertise and for recognizing the value of capacity building where it matters most. Growing up on the East End in Katlehong, I remember seeing those Air Liquide, I call them Air Liquide then, Air Liquide tankers that used to move from Natal Spirit Hospital to Al Road. So I know what Air Liquide is all about now. So therefore, it brings back fond memories of those days. I think we are living through a period of profound technological and economic transitions. In moments like this, Deputy Minister, Deputy President, the choices we make of where about to invest, in whom we with whom you invest will shape trajectories for decades, if not centuries. At Wits and other sister universities, I believe that universities must stand firm in that moment, not as observers, but as participants, not as commentators, but as buildings. For us, as Johannesburg, as South Africa, it's a signal. We don't do this because it's easy. We do these things, as President Kennedy said, because they are hard. It is that challenge that will serve to measure the best of our energy and skills. It's a challenge you are not prepared to postpone. It's a challenge we will need to take. I thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, VC. Our next speaker is going to speak on investing in a sustainable future. That would be Mr. Nicolas Poirot. I was about to say something about you, but you're welcome to come. Nicolas' extensive career with Air Liquide spans 3 decades. His career is marked by his high-level leadership across major markets, having previously worked as president and CEO of Air Liquide Greater China and president of Air Liquide Southwest Europe, among other senior executive roles. Mr. Poirot is a chemical engineer from École des Mines de Paris, with the backing of advanced management programs from London Business School and Singapore Nanyang Technological University. He is also chairman of the Association of International Chemical Manufacturers, AICM. And he's also on the he's also a French economic trade advisor. Nicolas Poirot, this is your time.
Thank you, Lauren. Good morning, everyone. What a pleasure, what a proud moment for all of us and for myself to be here today in front of you. What Lauren forgot to say is that as a young graduate, I came to this country in '95 to Air Liquide, and I still keep fond memories of this country. So to me, as one of the few foreigners in a room, and I see him in a room, to be standing to the national anthem of South Africa means something, you know. Thank you for that opportunity. Deputy President, pleasure to see you again. It's great to see a follow-up of your visit to Paris a few months ago with a great delegation. And I think for the French community in South Africa, this is again a symbol and a concrete example of the link between our two countries and the companies in France and in South Africa. Ministers, Excellency, Executive Mayor, dear VC, dear friends, partners, Localization Fund, our dear partners from Sasol and customers in the room, welcome again. It is indeed a great pleasure because not only, like Nkululeko said, we have been part of this country, industry and healthcare system for decades, but the past few years, thanks to Sasol opportunity, we've invested in this country over 5 years, 12 billion rands. So as a private company, that means something. You invest in capital and you invest in people. That's why we're here today in the university. So investing 12 billion rands over 5 years is the great testament of our confidence, of our hope, and of our excitement to be part of the development of the country in technologies, whether it's in green energy, sustainable energy, technologies across the countries from small to medium customers and healthcare. So we feel privileged to do it. But we're not here to speak about the past. We're here to speak about the future. And before I speak about hydrogen, which is very dear to us, of course, let me speak about CO2. And again, in this country, what is really special is the Secunda site, where with Sasol, we operate the biggest oxygen site in the world. And as you said, Lauren, I spent 4 years in China. You would expect China to have the biggest oxygen site in the world. It is here in South Africa. And that oxygen site in the world, in 2021, when we took over, the plants that we used to supply to Sasol, we committed with the regulatory environment in South Africa proudly to go beyond operating plants reliably and safely. So together with Sasol, we pioneered to sign long-term purchase agreements in South Africa. So we encourage people to invest here in windmills, in solar panels. And as we speak, we reach already 1 gigawatt. 100 megawatts started a few months ago. As we speak, and tranche by tranche, we are going to go to enough renewable power to decarbonize our plants by 1.4 million tons of CO2 per year. This is super sizable. So, thank you. So acting for environment by investing in technology and people is what we love doing. And now with hydrogen, which again is a molecule that we know for a long time. I didn't expect today to speak about going to the moon or to speak about Einstein, but hydrogen started, the liquid hydrogen started because of the space industry that we've been supplying for many years. Most of the rockets are fueled by oxygen and hydrogen. So that's where we come from hydrogen. And years after years, a lot of us realized hydrogen could become part of that energy challenge, climate challenge that we all face. And whether you are public, office, private companies, I think we all want to find that equation of developing, bringing jobs, economy, and doing it in a sustainable way. So hydrogen, we believe, has a key part to play. It doesn't have to be always green, it will be here. What we call blue hydrogen is some technology that we already capture carbon from gray hydrogen. So every step matters to me to bring hydrogen and energy cleaner and cleaner. And it doesn't solve the technical, economical issue that green hydrogen, even though I believe we'll have a very key part in that equation, is not going to solve everything. You need a mix of fuels, you need a mix of energy. And we're also very humble. Even though we've done hydrogen for many years, we believe we need partners, we need also new ideas and innovation. And that's why, because and thanks to what we did with Sasol, and that 100 million donation that we could do here with Wits University and with the Localization Support Fund, we didn't see it as a constraint. We saw it as an opportunity, together with that triangle, which is really perfect for us, to have a living laboratory. That's what's going to happen here in a few months, in 18 months. And we expect not to teach those graduates here about hydrogen. I think we expect them to find new ways of producing hydrogen in a better way. And we are going to learn from them, and we are going to learn from you. Lorraine was mentioning the different schools I went to. I'm really sorry I didn't do Wits. When I look at the campus, I really regret it. When I was in your office a few months ago, I really feel, you know, what a lot of you in the room know about this university, and we know across the world. So you can be proud of it, but I will be super happy to come back in a few months to see in reality what's happening here, because localization is not only about technology, it's about the people. And in Air Liquide in South Africa, we have a Shosholoza program for young graduates. We've been doing it for years and years. And some people in this room are now leaders because of those programs to encourage young graduates to come to our company. Internship, yes for youth, every initiative we can bring in a country to bring young people to study technical jobs, engineering, because they want to change the world, we are very happy and we will support. So localization of people here is really what we would like to do. And again, as a multinational company, but truly South African, we are very proud. And we believe we enable that future together with you. And we are very humble, and we want to thank all the partners in the room. All the best, and thank you very much.
Your Excellency, Deputy President, Mr. Paul Mashatile, allow me to move to the next part of this program, where the contract for Wits Sali will be signed in your presence. Thank you. So to sign the contract, I'm going to call upon the partners, I'll call upon Mr. Nkululeko Magadla. You can proceed to the table right at the corner. Prof. Vilagazi and Mr. Ekshad Katrada. Okay. With the contract in hand, I would like to call upon the head of legal for Air Liquide South Africa, Ms. Ribone Letwalo, to take the contract to be signed by the partners. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Letwalo. Thank you, gentlemen. To make this, some of you might be wondering, what does this plant look like? What shape or form could it take? So to make it tangible, we prepared a 3D video that we're going to show now, just to give a sense of what has been signed, what this contract will entail. You will see it on the screens. There is your feet, Sally, ladies and gentlemen, towards a decarbonized future. Okay, so now we've reached the point of the sod-turning, and I'm going to call upon Prof. Lynn Morris. Prof. Lynn, can I say something about you while you woke up? Okay. I've got the permission from the VC. So Prof. Lynn Morris is an A-rated, internationally recognized scientist with demonstrable experience in research management and leadership. She is internationally recognized for her work in understanding the antibody response to HIV and is responsible for conducting validated endpoint assays for HIV vaccine clinical trials. She is a member of the Academy of Science of South Africa and a fellow of the African Academy of Sciences, the Royal Society of South Africa, and the World Academy of Sciences. You're welcome to take this, to start the sod-turning, Prof. Lynn.
Thanks very much, Lorraine. You can hear that that's as far away from green hydrogen as you can get. But thanks, everybody, for being here. And I also want to acknowledge the Deputy President, the ministers, and the Mayor, and, of course, the leadership of Air Liquide and the leadership here at Wits. And I do just want to say a few words about why this is so important, as the VC mentioned, not just for Wits, but for the Academy, because today is about research, and it's about our students. Because universities exist to generate knowledge. That is our core purpose. But increasingly, we are being called upon to generate solutions. And solutions require platforms where ideas can be tested, refined, and challenged under real operating conditions. And of course, the hydrogen plant is exactly that. But hydrogen is a systems challenge. We've heard that this is not going to be easy. We do need a lot of technical expertise, and we need people to come together, because it spans material science, electrochemistry, engineering design, data modeling, safety and integration into broader energy systems, and no single discipline can solve that alone. So this facility enables our researchers to work across those boundaries, generating real performance data and insights that will move beyond theory. But for our postgraduate students, the impact will be significant. Our doctoral and postgraduate researchers will not only model hydrogen systems, they will work on a functioning plant. They will test optimization strategies, analyze systems performance, and engage with challenges that mirror those that are faced by industry. That exposure builds deep technical expertise, systems thinking, and the confidence to innovate. And this is how we prepare our graduates, not just to enter emerging industries, but to lead them. And I do have to brag a little bit about Wits, just for a moment. Wits is currently ranked #1 in sub-Saharan Africa for innovation. So you've come to the right place. And through the Wits Innovation Center, we've strengthened the pathway from discovery to deployment, ensuring that strong research can move beyond publication into prototype, partnership, and application. This hydrogen plant now becomes a critical part of that innovation ecosystem. But as the VC said, importantly, this is a national facility. We see it as a platform that encourages collaboration across universities, research institutions, and industry partners. And we welcome shared access, because the energy transition is a collective endeavor. And the strongest solutions will emerge when we work together. So ultimately, this facility is about building knowledge, building skills, and building long-term capability for South Africa. So thank you very much to all our partners for this initiative. So we've signed on the dotted line, but as you can see, it is a model. It is a modular, you can see it's things that can move around. So this plant is going to take the next 2 years to build here in this parking lot. And then it is going to be relocated. But we thought it was important that we had a physical demonstration and to signify the importance of this event. So I would like to invite up to do this the sod-turning event. I'd like to invite the Deputy President, Minister Ramokgopa, Minister Manamela, the Executive Mayor, our Vice Chancellor, the CEO of Air Liquide, Nicholas Perot, the local CEO in Kulalela, Machalada, and the CEO of LSF, Arshad Kathrada. Thank you. Well done. So, congratulations. This is now, the building has started. We have broken ground, and this is a commitment. Thank you, colleagues. Built up a sweat there. So I finally do want to just mention the people that are going to take this forward. I do want to acknowledge again Professor Thokozani Majosi, whose leadership got us to this point. But I also do want to acknowledge Professor Rodney Genga, who is going to be the person really doing the work. So thank you, Rodney. Maybe you could just stand up, Rodney. He's easy to see. But I would also like to acknowledge the Dean of the Acting Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment, Professor Cuthbert Musangwini, if you could stand up too. And then finally, leading this Wits effort, I do want to acknowledge Professor Ian Jandrell, who is going to be coordinating all of the activities at Wits. So thank you to Ian. I'll hand back to Lorraine.
So speaking of Prof. Majosi, he couldn't be here with us today because he's in Cape Town, but he did a video for us. So if you could play his video, please, gentlemen.
Greetings to everyone, and thank you for this opportunity to say a word or two at this launch of the Wits South African Hydrogen Localisation Initiative, so-called Wits-SALI, which is really a collaboration between Air Liquide, a well-known player in the space of gases, worldwide, gas separations, and Wits University in particular, also a leader in the academic space. I think in that equation, I must also include the Localization Support Fund, who have been very instrumental in the background in making sure that this actually comes to where we are at the moment. We are aware that our country launched, that was in 2022, what is called the Hydrogen Society Roadmap, which is really looking at establishing an inclusive, sustainable, and competitive hydrogen economy by, say, 2050. And in that, it's looking at producing about 500,000 tons of hydrogen annually by 2030. That is just 4 years from now. So it is clear that as a country, there is a dedicated and deliberate drive to invest in green hydrogen economy. This initiative adds to that. This is about designing, constructing, commissioning, and running a plant at a university that is producing hydrogen on one end, storing it somewhere in between, and taking it to the fuel cell, where you generate power that can be fed to the grid or used for whatever purposes perhaps in the vicinity. So the production of hydrogen is one thing. Storing it, transporting it in an efficient fashion, that's another matter. Ultimately, converting it to power, that's another challenge. We seek to answer those questions via this facility. So there was foresight in our deliberations that actually, if it's about answering a fundamental research question, surely an institution like Wits could play a very big role in that regard. So I just want to say in closing, this is the beginning of a long journey between particularly Air Liquide and Wits University. And I hope that the two partners will continue holding hands and work side by side to make sure that this is brought to life in our lifetime. Thank you.
And thank you to the Wits communications team for supporting the production of that video. Now to speak on South Africa's hydrogen context is Honorable Minister Dr. Kosientsho Ramokgopa. Dr. Ramokgopa is the current Minister of Electricity and Energy in the Republic of South Africa. In the 6th administration, he served as the Minister of Electricity from March 2023. Dr. Ramokgopa served as the Mayor of Tshwane, the capital of South Africa, from 2010 to 2016, and a member of the Executive Council in the Gauteng Provincial Government in 2019. A civil engineer by training, Dr. Ramokgopa entered formal politics as a ward councillor for the African National Congress in Tshwane between 2000 and 2005. After several years running public and private entities, he returned to politics in November 2010 when he was elected as the mayor of Tshwane, the capital. Okay. Dr. Ramokgopa was also the regional chairperson of the ANC's branch in Tshwane, a position he held until 2018. I invite you, Dr. Ramokgopa.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Yes, Tshwane is the capital city. No, you didn't. I thought she's misspeaking. You didn't misspeak, yeah. Just to extend my greetings to the Deputy President, my brother, Minister Manamela. I only discovered now that he has been an MP since 2009. So I was whispering to him that he became an MP when he was 15 years of age. But it's a pleasant discovery there. And to my friend and brother also, the Executive Mayor of Johannesburg, Dada Morero, Councillor Morero, and the most foremost intellectual in the nuclear energy space, if you didn't know, the research space of nuclear, DP. I mean, we've got some of the most prominent scholars in our country, and they're not that celebrated. He just happens to be a VC, but he's principally a scientist. Thank you very much, Zebulon, for welcoming us together with your esteemed management team, the leadership of Air Liquide. Is that the right pronunciation? Yeah, I mean, myself and DP were grappling. How do you pronounce it? I tried. Just to say thank you very much for this partnership. I have to make this point at the onset, Nkululeko, the country CEO of Air Liquide, is that I am on a WhatsApp group with former students, University of now KwaZulu-Natal. They are always aggrieved. The one institution I visited the most in my formal capacity is Wits University. So every time when I convey what I've been doing there, the first message I get is, so you are selling out. So I want to say it's country duty. I'm at Wits, and I'm going to say other things that they are going to put me at odds with them. But that's the brutal truth. So thank you very much for that. Prof, I just want to register almost like a grievance, a degree of discomfort. So that facility, I don't know what the square meterage of that. As a civil engineer, it can take you 2 years. I'm trying to comprehend how does that take you 2 years to build? Maybe commissioning is something, but I guess it's the regulatory issues upfront, permitting, licensing. So I think we must qualify it. It will take us X number of months to construct, and then the permitting and license. Because I think you are missing an opportunity. The highest office is here, national, and the highest office is here at the local. He must make those decisions. So you must register that now. Well, I'm not doing it on your behalf. You must still say it. You must still put it to, yeah, so I don't know what the DP will say, but DP, one of the things that, of course, the DP will say a lot about this facility, but I think one of the complexities that undermines the degree and the speed of the build program in our country is not the actual build itself. I think it's the onerous requirements, permitting and licensing. And I think that part of the reform agenda that is led in the presidency, of course, by definition, the president and the DP are leading that, is to resolve that question. Because once you resolve it, I'm telling you, just visually, when I right size it, it can be 2 years to build that. So that's the point, and I think it's something that one of the biggest takeaway when we leave here is something to address. When we're meeting earlier on, the DP makes a very profound point, and in fact, it's also echoed by the VC, that this is the most consequential intervention we're making, for reasons that the DP will explain, but I want to say 1 or 2 things. The first one is that just look at the history of our country and how we have become the most industrialized country on the continent. And look at our history and leave the very difficult past in relation to political governance, exclusion, a system that was universally categorized as a crime against humanity. But just isolate the politics from your intense microscopic view of how we got to be the most industrialized. So, I mean, look at the history of Spoornet, the forerunner to Transnet, when it was established in 1910. What is the question that Spoornet was seeking to answer? Look at when ESCOM was established in 1923, and then also ask the question, what is it that they were trying to answer, the political leadership of the time? And much later, 1928, when ISCO, which metamorphosed into, what is this? Yes. Yeah, ArcelorMittal, yes. This is what I always do. I knew it's ArcelorMittal. I just want to see if the audience is still with me. No, like for real, ArcelorMittal, really. And then 1950, Sasol. That's an assignment. Just look at what they were trying to resolve. But what is common there is that the state took the lead. So the state took a long-term view of the nature of industrial development in the country, and also had an appreciation on the direction of travel and how the future will look like. And then they prepared themselves much earlier to put in place these SOEs that have become the lifeblood of the South African industrial complex. So we are at that stage with regards to hydrogen, and of course, some degree of bias towards green hydrogen for reasons that I'll surface, is that we have not necessarily pivoted because of the unit cost of production. Because as an energy carrier, it must still prove itself to be commercially competitive compared to other alternatives. So as Prof. Majosi says in that clip, we adopted the Hydrogen Society roadmap, and as he makes a correct observation, an ambition of 500,000 tons by 2030. We are nowhere close to that. And if you look at the numbers globally, that this will have, the market size will be over $350 billion by that time. So the South African government, as a policymaker, has made that decision that this is the direction we are taking, and we are going to inaugurate the necessary policy instrument to support that movement. And then in 2023, we adopted as cabinet the South Africa's investment strategy. What the investment strategy did was to identify what we call 5 frontiers. And one of that frontiers is green hydrogen. So essentially, a more involved, robust, and scientific analysis of what constitute the opportunities to grow the South African economy in a manner that is sustainable and enduring going into the future. We were able to isolate those sectors, those industries that could be the preeminent drivers of that growth as envisaged. And we arrived at the conclusion that green hydrogen is going to be one of those. So now I'm very specific. I said green hydrogen. And I think that the technology that's going to support this green hydrogen, because the green really is in the source, the primary source of energy. but the technology, the electrolyzers, the PEM membranes and all of that is what is going to be done here. And this is important, like I said, is consequential. And then we have accepted from a trade investment point of view that the European countries, the European Union, our third largest trading partner, has taken a view that components or finished products that are going to land in their market are going to be subjected to what we call the carbon border adjustment mechanism. So what that means is that if the production was fossil fuels heavy, they are going to levy a tax. So what that does, we argue, is a trade barrier. They argue that is to make a contribution towards the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. I think we can argue until the cows come back home. But what is material for us is that we are likely going to be denied access into the third biggest market for the country. So we need to do something significant. I think one of the best opportunities is the production of green steel, and hydrogen is going to be a big part of that. I mean, following the conclusion of whatever direction DTIC takes with regards to ArcelorMittal, we are of the view that the Saldanha plant is a great candidate for green hydrogen applications. And in that way, we're able to retain and, if anything, expand our presence in the European market. And of course, we know that the hard-to-abate sectors, aviation, maritime, they lend themselves to the use of green hydrogen. Just the other day when we went for a state visit to Japan, the president of Japan put to President Ramaphosa to say that they are ready. On their part, they've introduced policy instruments that are going to support the off-takers of green hydrogen. And that policy instruments provide for a premium that will be subsidized by the Japanese government to ensure that there's a huge presence of green hydrogen in their industrial applications. So they are prepared to pay a premium. And that's why we think that South Africa stands ready to make a significant contribution. If you are to do any radiation atlas, you see that the best quality sun really is the corridor, the Northern Cape going into Namibia, the Australian outback, and Chile. But we are ready. We are far advanced in our country, and of course, we are collaborating and coordinating our efforts with Namibia. But the point is the following, is that you need 3 actors for us to be able to achieve this ambition. So the first one is the policy enablers. And I've made the point that government, the Hydrogen Society roadmap, the issue around the point I made about the investment strategy for the country, it elevates the importance of green hydrogen. I do accept, like I said, I've made a distinction. Hydrogen and how it becomes green is because of it uses cleaner sources of energy as a primary source of supply. The third stakeholder that needs to be present for this to succeed is that you need academia to be part of this conversation. So you can go back and look at what Eskom has achieved, go back and look at what Spoornet, now Transnet, has achieved over time, what Sasol has been able to achieve. You will see what is common amongst those preeminent and marquee South African institutions or organizations is their proximity to universities, or if you like, a research capacity that is embedded in universities. Just an acceptance that you need to assign people on a daily basis, just a cohort of experts, to be at it on a daily basis to try and resolve some of the complexities that are confronting us. And then the third actor that is required there is capital. These things are expensive, and that capital must be patient. And that's why industry is a big part of this conversation. And what this does is to bring all of these 3 together. And I can tell you that out of this, what we call hydrogen, and in fact green hydrogen, whatever we're going to produce coming out of this from an industrial participation point of view, is going to rival, I want to argue, Spoornet, which became Transnet, Eskom, and then Sasol. This is something of that magnitude. And history will tell you how those were able to change the economic face and landscape of our country. So we're happy to be here. We're happy to be here because the highest office in the land is in the house. So that's the significance of this. When someone passes there, might think there's a wedding taking place, but there's a major event. Well, in the township, a white tent is just associated with eating. Yes, we are going to eat, there's going to, but the deputy president is in the house. It is important, just an appreciation that the highest office in the land understand the significance of this. In fact, it goes further. The deputy president is also the convener of the Interministerial Committee on Green Hydrogen. And it's by coincidence that after this, he has called a meeting. We are going to a meeting, various ministers, to discuss green hydrogen. And of course, all of us are expected to give the report. When my turn comes, I'll just tell everyone, DP, yes, I'm delivering. Just that we don't have a structure of a bonus in government, the DP will confirm, no, Mchana, there is yours, yeah. So that's the one part. But I think it's important also just an appreciation that DP Paul Mashatile has been at the forefront of delivering some of the most complex and game-changing initiatives in the country. And chief amongst those is your Gauteng. Of course, conceptualized before he arrived. Conceptualization is one thing, delivery is quite another. And in fact, the complexity is in the delivery. And one thing that we have not perfected in the country is the art of doing. Just get things done and accepting that in the course of doing things, you are going to make mistakes. I always tell my son, the only way you are guaranteed not to make a mistake, just sit down and fold your arms. Then you'll never make a mistake. The only mistake is that you'll be sitting there for far too long. But that's the only thing. There's no risk involved, but he was able to deliver it, and we see the benefits of that. It has changed the travel patterns, how people relate with public transport, and in fact, we are about to expand it. And of course, the DP also chairs the South African National AIDS Council, to resolve pandemic, and thanks to the work that the Prof and the team have been doing, so government has taken the bait and we're driving that. Those of us in government, you might not know, is someone who's action-oriented. As the mayor here, he's always on the ground, hands-on. Let's resolve problems. This is it's an opportunity going into the future, and it couldn't be in better hands than those of the Deputy President of the country. Please join me as I invite the Deputy President to deliver the keynote address. Thank you, Masha.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. So, Minister Ramokgopa, the VC was empowering me there. So he says, you pronounce it Air Liquide. We mustn't hear the E at the end. But thank you very much for the introduction. Our host, the Vice Chancellor and Principal of Wits University, Professor Zeblon Vilagazi, and your senior executive, Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa. We had a small debate 2 weeks ago about his title. He was meeting with me and the President and was saying, are you Minister of Energy and Electricity, or Electricity and Energy, or Minister of Energy? But we thought, let's leave it like that. There's something we're trying to deal with to emphasize electricity. Let me also recognize Minister of Higher Education and Training, Mr. Buti Manamela, our Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Councillor Dada Morero. Wits University has made a mistake in terms of protocol. When I go to cities, the mayor of the city must welcome me officially. But I forgive you because I don't think you know about these things. So, Executive Mayor, ke a ba tshwarela. Ke a ba tshwarela. Ke tropo ya hao e. Kwa na tshwantse o re amogele. But we will learn as we go. Thank you very much, Executive Mayor, for being here, because a lot of this, as Minister Ramokgopa was saying, is going to depend on how you intervene to assist. So thank you very much for being here. Let me recognize Mr. Nkululeko Magadla, CEO of Air Liquide, South Africa. Mr. Nicholas Pyro, Air Liquide CEO for Africa, Middle East, and India. Sasol representatives who are here today. Mr. Ashat Kathrada, CEO of Localization Support Fund. Industry leaders who are present here. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize the former chairperson of the Wits Council, my friend and brother, Isaac Shongwe, who is here amongst us. Thank you for coming. Isaac and I attended the same high school. You know where. Alex. Let me also recognize all academics who are here. Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody. Is it still morning? Yes, it is. It is an honor to join this morning for the launch of the Wits South Africa Hydrogen Localisation Investment Facility, in short called Wits SALI, an important milestone so clearly demonstrated during the sod-turning we have just witnessed. This moment marks not only the beginning of a groundbreaking project, but also the start of a shared national endeavor to build a new industrial capability that drives innovation, creates quality jobs, and contributes to a just, inclusive, and sustainable economy. South Africa's hydrogen journey began in 2007 when Cabinet approved a 15-year Hydrogen South Africa research, development, and innovation strategy, as mentioned earlier, and today implemented by the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation. The purpose of this groundbreaking strategy was to create knowledge, build skills, and support valuable business activities in hydrogen fuel cell technologies using our plentiful platinum group metal resources. Over the years, we have established world-class infrastructure and technical expertise within the Hydrogen South Africa Centers of Competence. These centers focus on catalysis, hydrogen production, storage, distribution, system integration, and technology validation, forming the backbone of our national hydrogen innovation system and paving the way for a more integrated approach in securing our country's energy future. We are jubilant that the new Wits Localization Investment Hydrogen Facility will stand proudly as a continuation of that vision. Equipped with a 110 kilowatt electrolyzer, a 200 kilogram hydrogen storage capacity, and a 200 kilowatt clean power output system, it is not only a technical asset, but also a training ground for the current and next generation of engineers, scientists, technicians, and entrepreneurs that will lead the charge in driving the change that we want to see. In this regard, I wish to acknowledge the important leadership of Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Ramokgopa. Through his stewardship, South Africa has strengthened policy certainty in the energy sector, accelerated the implementation of the Energy Action Plan, and advanced the integration of the renewable energy into the national grid. Minister Ramokgopa is playing an important role in positioning green hydrogen within South Africa's broader energy transition. His ministry's strategies focus on stabilizing electricity supply, modernizing the grid, and promoting energy reforms, which are crucial for the hydrogen's economic success. He emphasizes that hydrogen development should not be isolated, but be part of the national energy strategy, involving grid expansion, renewable energy, industrial development, and regional energy collaboration. So well done, Minister, for that leadership. Ongoing partnership with the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation, as well as higher education and industry stakeholders are essential for advancing hydrogen from pilot project to commercial viability. I'm happy, Minister Manamela, that you are here with us to solidify that partnership. Thank you very much for being here. I must confess that the launch of this remarkable facility takes me back to my own school days. I'm not entirely sure if Minister Manamela is old enough to relate, but I remember a time when resources were scarce and opportunities unevenly distributed. A science laboratory was nothing more than an ordinary classroom, no proper banners, and certainly no sophisticated equipment. It was just our imagination. But today, when I walk into a modern school, Minister Manamela, I see fully equipped laboratories, computers, smart boards, safety gear, and shelved lines with real scientific instruments. I cannot help but smile about the progress we have made. Because our children are no longer learning science through improvisation alone. They are experiencing it firsthand in a practical and applied manner. That is why this facility, or the facility like this one, matter to us, VC. They close the gap between potential and possibility, ensuring that the next generation does not inherit the limitations we once faced, but instead they inherit the tools to shape a far more innovative future. In this context, Air Liquide's 100 million investment, together with a partnership between Wits and the Localization Support Fund, represent far more than bricks and equipment. It establishes a crucial hub where students can bridge theoretical knowledge with practical industrial application, especially in the rapidly emerging green energy sector. By 2028, when the facility becomes fully operational, 2 years, Minister Ramokgopa, it might be earlier, we aim to have, at that point, developed a vibrant ecosystem of locally manufactured hydrogen components, homegrown innovations, and strong enterprise development pathways for emerging companies. What is particularly impressive about this initiative is that it represents a concrete step towards decarbonization and sustainability, directly aligning with national and global commitments to build a low-carbon and sustainable society. Around the world, clean hydrogen is emerging as a strategic solution to decarbonize hard-to-abate sectors, strengthen energy security, and open new export opportunities. For South Africa, this transition offers a compelling opportunity to leverage our research excellence, catalytic minerals, engineering capabilities, and industrial base to develop competitive, localized hydrogen value chains. Green hydrogen will be central in decarbonizing heavy-duty transport, steel, cement, mining, chemical refineries, agriculture, and plastics. Our country has recognized the transformative potential of this industry, not only to drive progress towards net zero emissions, but also to tackle poverty, unemployment, and inequality by unlocking new economic frontiers. The envisaged Wits facility speaks directly to this ambition. It represents localization in its fullest and most transformative sense, ensuring that the design, manufacturing, assembly, and maintenance of components within the green hydrogen value chain takes place here at home in South Africa. It is about creating supplier ecosystem that draws in small, medium enterprises, broaden industrial participation, and deepen domestic capabilities. It is about establishing the standard, testing facilities, and certification system that give industry and investors confidence to procure locally. This positions South Africa not only as a producer of green hydrogen, but also as a developer and exporter of the technologies, skills, and industrial capacity that will shape the global green economy. It is also about knowledge localization, ensuring that the intellectual property, the skills, and the technical leadership reside within South Africa's research system and industry so that value does not simply pass through our borders, but is created and retained here. Ladies and gentlemen, localization is crucial for building a resilient South African economy by fostering local capabilities rather than relying on imported technologies. Localization generates jobs, enhances skill sets, and supports small businesses. By reducing dependency on external supply chains, localization empowers local researchers and industries to innovate. Ultimately, it ensures that emerging sectors such as the green hydrogen economy benefit the local community, contributing to an inclusive and competitive South Africa that will be able to stay ahead of the curve. Through Localization Support Fund, also a partner in the Wits project, government is removing barriers to competitiveness, supporting feasibility studies, strengthening manufacturing capabilities, and translating industrial policy into real business activity. However, we must also confront the reality of industrial decline and its heavy impact on our youth and communities. Manufacturing once contributed more than 22% of GDP in the early 1990s. Today, it is around 12 to 13%. Employment in manufacturing has fallen from more than 2.1 million jobs in 2008 to roughly 1.6 or 1.7 million today. Behind every percentage point lost are thousands of vanished opportunities. This is why we must commit to a new era of reindustrialization, one that embraces advanced manufacturing, build domestic capabilities, deepen local chains, and position South Africa as a competitive player in the industries of the future. Initiatives such as the Wits project are central to our reindustrialization agenda. Our country cannot prosper through import dependency. We must build what we use, and we must innovate what we export. The modular design of this plant is a deliberate strategy, allowing locally produced components to be developed, tested, improved, and eventually standardized. This creates opportunities for South African firms not only to participate, but, as Minister Ramokgopa said, to lead. To the Department of Higher Education and Training, this facility represents precisely the kind of collaborative, future-focused academic infrastructure envisaged in our national system of innovation. Wits University, already a continental leader in research output, as we were told earlier, will now become a central node in hydrogen research, skills development, and technology scaling. We want to thank you, VC, for taking the lead. This is how nations build future industries, through coherent, collaborative ecosystems that brings academia, government, and the private sector together. As we grow our hydrogen economy, we must also acknowledge the challenges, including shortage of skills, or rather skilled workers, and limited local manufacturing capacity. To move from pilot projects to commercial scale, we need a stronger skills pipeline and greater uptake of locally developed technologies. And I know, Minister Manamela, that your department is hard at work in this regard. So, the launch of the Wits project demonstrates that our institutions of higher learning are positioned to play a critical role in advancing green hydrogen skills and technologies. I'm happy, Prof. Vilakazi, that you indicated that this is not just Wits, but we want other universities as well, and as you have invited some of them here to be part of initiatives of this nature. Through the Hydrogen Society Roadmap, we are aligning multiple stakeholders around a common vision for deploying hydrogen technologies to support economic development and our green transition. To our universities and research facilities, you must know that you are the backbone of this initiative. The hydrogen economy will require new thinkers, new problem solvers, new technicians, new researchers, and new entrepreneurs. We therefore urge you and all of us here to seize the opportunity presented by the Wits SALI facility and similar initiatives to be rolled out in future through such a partnership model. We are therefore duty-bound to support our global energy revolution. In closing, let me express our appreciation to our Air Liquide partners for their substantial investment in South Africa, to Wits University for its leadership in research and innovation, to the local support fund for championing South African industrial capacity, and to Minister Ramokgopa for his unwavering commitment to building a stable, modern, and future-ready energy system that enables initiatives such as this to succeed. Together, we are laying the foundation for a new chapter in South Africa's industrial and energy landscape, one powered by innovation, driven by localization, and sustained by the brilliance of its people. With those few words, I would like to thank you and wish you success in this initiative. And VC, remember what I said earlier, we are partners. Yes. Thank you very much.